All departments, conduct your final safety checks and report back to the bridge. Engineering, confirm reactor status and warp core integrity.
Engine is ready. Fasten your seatbelts, Commander. Entering warp in 3, 2, 1.
The bridge is all yours, Commander. Welcome to the command deck.
Hello. Welcome, guys. Let me check the audio here just a moment. Very quick. Okay, yeah. So, welcome to Command Deck Podcast. One more time. So, right now we can see our mate and friend here, Drum Carlos.
Hello.
His new look. Awesome look. So, today we have a special guest. We have Jindo with us. How are you, Jindo?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. And as usual, we have Solas. How are you, Solas?
Hey, everybody. Welcome.
Awesome. And we also have Grist with us. How are you, Grist?
Good. Middle of moving, but welcome, Jindo.
Thanks,
Awesome.
man. Appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
So, first of all, why don't you tell us, Jindo, who are you and what is your guild about? Just a kind of simple introduction for now, and then we talk a little bit more about you.
Yeah, no problem. So, I am one of the leaders of, one of the founders of the Unseen Guild. We were founded 2 years ago, almost going on 3 now, but over 2 years ago, by myself and my twin brother Whitemane, which I'm sure a bunch of you guys know. I'm not sure how many people know that Whitemane and I are twins, but we definitely are. We've been leading guilds in a multitude of games for the last 30 years, basically. World of Warcraft, Star Wars: The Old Republic, Rift, MMOs, you name it. We've led a guild in some form of it, and before that, it was shooters. But over the last 30 years now, we've been leading squads, hardcore gaming guilds, mythic level WoW rating guilds, together or separately, and successful in all of them. Normally within the top 10, more top 5 within every competitive area we've been in any of the games that we've focused on. Then I stumbled across Star Atlas one day. I this is funny to say, but I just searched in a browser play to earn games, and one of the first one I found was Star Atlas, and I was like, hell yeah, let's go! This looks awesome. I bought a ship, an X5, and I staked it right away. And I had my X5 staked for about probably 6 months before I did anything else as far as building the Unseen. Like probably about 2 months after I bought my first X5 Whitemane, I drug my brother into it, and we really started setting the foundation for what we wanted from a guild. And we've always kind of played the good guys in a lot of games in the past, pretty much all of them. We were always very serious competitive, and even in WoW when we played Horde, like we didn't have that evil feel that we want to have in the long-term version of this game. So for the first time in our 30 years of gaming existence, we plan to be, pirates, full-fledged, evil, kill you on sight pirates.
Bam! Hey, it's gonna be fun. You got to have killers in a game like to make it awesome.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting podcast.
A game that are worth thousands of dollars. That is gonna be insane. The reactions.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Make some people cry for sure.
Yeah,
so just
and
one more little
before,
tidbit I'll throw in on the guild real fast is we've built our guild with that same mentality where we're 100% gamers. We don't we're obviously investors too. That's came along with all of the Web3, but our long-term players, the guys that we've known for the past 10 to 15 years, are all serious hardcore gamers.
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, that's kind
That's
of
that,
something. When we started Vanguard, we try to do like pretty experienced gamers, almost like an esports league. So it's very interesting that that's kind of what you guys are doing in Unseen with the whole guild, though. That's very interesting.
yeah, I think that's important. The gaming for sure, not only the play to earn. So before we go on, let me say hi to our friends here in the chat. So we have Cygnus Murasaki. Hey, welcome, Body. We have Body. So we have
Hey,
a
buddy.
Oh,
we
Bodhi, hello.
we have something to talk about later too. We have
Yeah, stick
Lobo.
around.
Hey, Lobo, welcome. Shadix, as usual, welcome, mate. Thanks for coming. And Val Phoenix, welcome too. So thanks for
And a
coming,
shout again
guys.
to Shadix for doing the audio introduction for the podcast. That
Yeah,
is epic.
I almost
Thanks, Shadix.
forgot, but I didn't forget in the end. I remembered. So yeah, I'm not used to that, having that audio there, but it's very, very cool. Thanks, Alex.
Good.
So before we continue with the rest, we have something that can just get us all started. Drum Carlos found this. Let me wait a moment. No.
This is what we're going to be doing later
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
UE5 Star Atlas
But let
manning
me.
these cannons
Here.
and ships and turrets and artillery. It's going to be interesting. I could see this in the future.
Just check this out. I can see some real wars going on like this. Some people breaking their their gear, their computers. This is amazing.
I cracked up laughing when I see this. This is probably the realest thing I've ever seen. Really launching these artillery rounds.
There was probably
So-
like 2 seconds between the moment that I saw it and the moment I sent it to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of visualize Jindo and their pirates like something like this.
Yeah.
You're
Just shooting
visualizing me
everybody.
in the wrong spot, dude. I'm gonna be on top of the ship, commanding someone else to do this shit.
It's gonna be the top of the ship like this.
What?
But this is
This is
pretty
crazy.
epic. Then you got the MetaQuest 3
Yeah, even in VR. Wow.
telescope.
I don't even know if this is all real for sure. I mean, what
I
part
don't
is
know.
trick and what part is real, you know? But it
I
looks
need to convert
amazing.
my room into this though.
Yeah. So let me go back here to us. Yeah. So now, first thing you already said, you are pirates and you are evil. You want to be evil. So we have some questions, but you can talk about anything as usual. You guys, all of you, can talk about anything
Yeah.
that come to your mind. But for example,
So-
will Star Atlas ever turn on friendly fire? And if so, will you, Jindo, and your pirate mates attack your own faction then?
So that's actually one of the first rules we set. I mean, I know it's weird that pirates have rules. So we are a pirate guild. There will be a very evil piracy aspect to us. But it goes a lot deeper than that. We have multiple operations within the guild. Um, just to give you a real quick overlay, we have a fleet team, we have an industry, and we have an exploration team. So the fleet team is basically our hardcore PvPers, quote unquote pirates, the ones doing the piracy. But we'll also have, you know, miners on the backside that constantly are working in the industry. We'll have people doing deep space exploration or setting up trade routes or working diplomacy, whatever's needed. I get it. We are going to be pirating, but I guarantee, and we already have in the past, that people will be willing to work with pirates. So all of those different aspects are going to be needed, and we know that. But yes, we will have a hardcore. Our most hardcore gamers will be our pirates.
And that's an interesting setup there, because that's actually a good way, because you actually have a place to, you know, kind of be safe once you you know, don't want to be doing pirating anymore. You know, you still have a faction you could call home. And then, you know, a lot of pirates back in the day used to be mercenaries, so you'd be hired out potentially, I would imagine, to carry out, you know, if someone doesn't want to do, if a non-combatant guild, you know, wants to get something back, or security, you guys could maybe run that, or, you know, pirate the pirates that got them. It's going to be very interesting. But yeah, that's an
I'm
interesting
not a big fan of making Star Wars comparisons, but I think the easiest comparison is the Empire from the Star Wars. They have sectors that, you know, are with them or that work with them for certain goals, and that's kind of the same vision that I'm seeing from our guild too. And obviously we'll be out blowing people up. That's never going to go away.
very
Yeah,
cool.
and pirates are evil in the sense that they steal stuff. You know, they are gonna loot whomever is in the wrong place at the wrong time. But normally, pirates have a very strong code, and they obey that code, and it's very democratic. You know, everyone has the same rights. It's always a very cool. I think if you are a hardcore gamer, it can get better than that in a world where people is, you know, going out with thousands of dollars on them on ships. It's gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. If you're in we'll just call it for the sake of this a safe sector, but you need to move, you know, $1,000 worth of transport in your solo, and but you know that you're in an unseen safe sector and you have protection in that area, whether or not you've allied up with us, like that's going to be the sector that we're in, so we're naturally going to defend that area. And if you're a part of it, you aren't going to have to sign any treaty for it or any kind of alliance with us because you're already in what we're calling our safe zone. Obviously, this is all theory crafting. There's so many things that have to play out, and for any of this to actually happen, but long term vision for me is similar to the Empire from the Star Wars.
Yeah, Jindo, I always thought like if we do have an actual HRZ and the ships are even the craftable ships, if people are losing stuff, what I always thought is like a pirate, you're going to be able to enable an entire career for people. I always imagined every trader, every miner is going to need an escort, and so the people that want to escort, they're wanting a pirate to come in so they can get some action. So if it was all safe and everyone was a bunch, Care Bears running around, everyone's all nice, it's going to be boring.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And you can actually get that with just within the guild ourselves without even going outside of the guild. That's the whole point of having the different trees. Like the industry won't have to worry about combat as much. They'll get to focus on their mining and their crafting and all of that shit while they have the hardcore PvPers out in space protecting them basically. So
Yeah.
But do you
Without pirates,
think?
this game would be boring. You
Yep.
know, you know, you take away the bounty hunters, you take away multiple things, and what with the current game state, there's, you know, some people, you know, hopping factions, doing the whole LP role. If that ever does, if they ever do turn on friendly fire, you know, pirates could go around and uh you know, you can't do anything with a LP person in your own faction right now, but when they do turn on friendly fire, you know, these pirates could be collecting pretty good money.
I'm gonna try not to shoot you, Kepler.
You owe me
He
a
knows
ballad,
life.
so.
He knows life.
Yeah,
Well,
our goal is we're very mud oriented. I don't think we have any plans to kill any specific mud. Uh, but I hear what you're saying with the LP sniping. I haven't really been involved in all of that, and my opinion on it is kind of meh. Like I really don't give a shit. Like it's not. They're gonna make their LP one way or another, no matter what base it is. And what I've said in the Empire server many times is like, how many of these players out here that are complaining actually even have the capacity to create field stabilizers or particle accelerators or radiation absorbers? Like all these people are bitching nonstop, but the stuff that's getting upgraded is stuff that's even beyond the capacity for most players to even produce. I mean, it's not
Yep.
easy to make a million field stabilizers, nonetheless 90 million of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And on my part, they do help us and they do fuck us a little bit, because they do, craft a lot faster than people maybe installing that already. Um, but I'm all for it. Just maybe do a base that's not already being constructed, because then you're kind of hurting small players. But I see both sides of the road. But yeah, a lot of people don't like that. But we'll see what happens.
They just need combat, man. Every day that goes by, I we there needs to be combat, and then it'll be a game.
Yeah, I'm pretty firm believer that the first round of combat is not going to be PvP oriented, anyways. So I don't think
Yeah,
that's
they'll
going to
make it
happen.
they'll make it turn based. They'll make it someone will always be able to run away.
Yeah,
We're in the personally. I mean, I love you guys. I love the team, but this is all to me just extraction. It's just a way for OGs. The team is saying, "Here you go." Once they
Yep.
flip the switch and it's real combat, everything changes. And I think they want to kind of give this back to the community. I just wish they'd give us combat.
And it's interesting because wars are getting started before there's even combat.
Yeah, it's dry
Um,
jacking wars. You're sitting there. It's like
yeah.
it's more of a
Well,
Discord war.
yeah, you have Rome, calling out the new four amigos, Bodhi's in chat, for doing these LP, but hey, they're able to do it. uh you could try to combat it, with as a faction. It's very hard. You have to have a lot of coordination. There's been a few times I deterred a few people, but and then you have like real life sanctions already starting before war is even out. So you have people when war does start and when PvP combat does start, it's going to be pretty bloody out there. But you have sanctions, people are publicly saying, hey, don't trade with, Bodhi or Mandalorian or craft for them, try to make it difficult for them as possible, and then you have pretty much, it sounds like Rome and Four Amigos are going to war.
Yeah, I
When
just think
combat starts.
so. I just think
So
right
it's gonna be
now
interesting.
it's weird. It's just weird to me to make enemies right now. I mean, we talked
Yeah.
about this amongst ourselves, but it's just really weird. There might be a moment where every single OG guild tries to band together just to survive and just to burn bridges right now because you don't like that someone else is making more money than you and not playing the if it wasn't legal, so to speak, in the game, or it was breaking game mechanics, the team would flip a switch and stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the thing is, the only thing for me right now is the hurting small players. I think the game needs to be more. Maybe the world is balanced. Maybe some mechanics in a different way. Sometimes the game doesn't feel like a real game, even
Yeah,
even if we are just talking about the economic game right now. It just feels like different than other kind of strategic games. I mean,
but kept
when
like
you go,
if sorry, go.
yeah, no, I was going to say that when you go just for example mining for several days and then traveling consumes so much fuel, and then getting the resources they are for are expensive in some way. Of course, that's kind of balanced, but in other games, it's like when you get a big ship or a medium ship, you can mine a lot, and then you have fuel for long trips, and you're not like having any problems with that, and at the same time you can craft in minutes or maybe half an hour as much. So so I mean the game is balanced in an economic way, but in gameplay I think it needs to be different. But that's
Yeah,
It
I
something.
didn't
think
feel it didn't feel
it's we.
like this with labs. It's just I think it's the fact that we are playing an incomplete game and that's giving slapping in our face.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Most of the mechanics we are using are thought taking into account mechanics that haven't been implemented yet, but are coming. So it's just really hard. Unfortunately, you have the experience you have, and right now it's tough.
Hmm.
But I think like when we say small players, I think what we're really saying is people that don't have a lot of money in it. To me, the game will thrive with 90% small players, players that if they're given fun loops, they will pay to play. They're not going to
Yeah.
think about making money. You can, if you develop a fun game, people will spend hours grinding for nothing and sharing, you know, Excel spreadsheets. That's between us. But people will love it. They will play for free, and it's not going to be about, well, that player can't blah blah blah. They don't care. Someone's going to come in and they'll spend thousands of dollars on a skin, just because they like the game. So if the game's fun, we don't have to worry about the quote unquote small players. Most of them are just going to do it to have fun.
Yeah, and
Yeah, exactly.
it's it's kind of like all the Web3 games are, a lot of them survive and thrive off scholars, and how you could enter this game with nothing and be a scholar. So like when a LP faction or faction hopper you know dunks on these small players, that poor Cambodian scholar, for example, like what Atlas Grace is trying to do. you know
Yeah.
it kind of really turns them off. So hopefully, they keep on going on and they seem like they're in good spirits. But like, I guarantee you there's plenty of small players like that. And it kind of sucks, but also, and some of this I do feel like is propaganda by maybe another guild trying to, you know,
Hmm.
turn people against other people and whatsoever. But yeah, it's just you're already seeing wars starting to form.
Yeah,
I
Jindo,
want
for
to
sure.
jump in on a couple things here if I can, real quick. Like what you guys were just talking about for sure, but and then I was going to answer Shattuck's question about I think the
I was
problem
going to
with
read
the
it first. Let me read Shadik's question first,
yeah,
because
no problem.
not everybody's watching the screen. So as soon as faction loyalty is not necessary anymore, how fast will the pirates fuck off and do their own thing? Do you really care about your faction?
So the fast, quick answer is 100% yes. Our one of our founding loyalties, so to speak, on our code at the very beginning was we're mud. We won't attack mud. We're not going to steal from mud. We're not going to pirate mud. If you're mud, you're not going to get the unseen on your ass. Over time, since we set that, there's been a few guilds that have stepped out of that boundary, I think, a little bit. But yes, for the most part, I don't think there's going to be any problem with mud. Now, if there, let's turn this a little bit though. If there's a mud guild that's attacking the mud faction, we would attack that mud guild that's trying to go against the mud. So, I guess that's the easiest way to explain that.
Nice.
But I wanted to answer the LP question a while ago, or to talk about the money and the. I think I think people got spoiled. I mean, you think about the last 6 months we had golden tickets, right, for a while, and golden tickets weren't relying on anyone else really doing anything for you. You went out, you farmed your items, you came back, you made your golden tickets, you could submit them, or you could sell them for a shitload, and make easy profits just selling your golden tickets over and over. But then even after golden tickets ended, we went straight from golden tickets into RFRs. Again, a totally soloable item that you can go and get everything yourself. You don't need any help, and sell it straight to the shop for Atlas. And then now they took every single person and piled them all into one thing, and everybody's fighting against the same thing and not used to, being able to go out and really determine how much they're earning. Now there's a lot out of their control that didn't used to be out of their control. So
Yeah, I also
How
think
does
that
a pirate how
we
does a
need,
pirate play a game without combat?
what's
but
that?
not only that, not only without combat. The thing is, right now we don't really have a good multiplayer interaction. I mean, the game
Yes,
is playing alone. Even if you see other fleets, you can't interact with them right now. So
I mean, I disagree with that. We've been doing trade groups since the beginning of golden tickets. We had one person for each item on the golden ticket, which I think was 13 or 14 items. And all those people in the guild went out and farmed those items, and we traded
But
them on a
that's
weekly
all
schedule.
done outside the game. You cannot do stuff together in the game. You cannot trade stuff inside the game.
Oh,
yeah,
totally.
We
yeah, I
create
was
our
saying
in
in game.
Discord. We play the game in Discord right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very
Like
much player
there's
cards.
something special like local chat. We don't have you roll up on an asteroid and you lock on. They say, hey, let's fucking chill, and you just oh cool. And you start rapping out all those little moments that needs to come soon, including combat. It is a solo extraction mode, and to me, once they get to that multiplayer where people can like in game communicate and work together, it's a whole new level.
I
yeah.
mean, I
There are
totally agree
two
that it's
important
solo.
things.
Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just going to summarize that there are two things that would change this completely: the local markets and the ability to give your cargo to someone else. If we had that, we could be helping small guys, or we could be sharing things like yeah, the cargo, but also the professions. We would be focusing on specific professions. For example, maybe small guys could be just like miners, and then giving their stuff to someone else to transport it or to craft things. But right now, a small guy needs to do everything by himself, unless he wants to go to the CSS, extract everything, and sell them on the market or OTC or whatever. So that's the kind of interaction I was talking about before, right? Now go ahead. Jindo?
Man, I think I forgot what I was talking about.
Oh, sorry.
I got into listening to you, man.
Hey Jindo, let me ask you, what do you think combat 1A, when do you think they're going to drop combat, and B, what do you think what will it look like? What is your gut that they're going to package something and say, here you go, here's combat?
So the first question, the timeline. I mean, I thought Crew was coming in April, and obviously I was wrong about that. So I don't really try to guess when shit's gonna come out anymore. I just wait and try to be excited for as many months as possible before it actually happens. But I hope I really don't see PvP coming. I think there's too many aspects. I think we'll have other peer-to-peer things before combat, like Klep was talking about, like trade, local markets, basic functions of peer-to-peer before you try to bring in combat. Because I guarantee if someone goes out in combat and loses their ship to some bullshit glitch in the first week of combat because they haven't tested combat in a PvE in a PvE realm, that someone's going to get pissed. But if you can fight against a non-player character first to learn how to do the combat and for the team to get all the bugs out of it before it actually goes into fighting against each other, there's a lot less anguish when you lose to a PvE battle, I think, than there is in a PvP combat situation.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing, we could, go into now, is, we're talking about PvP. Let's talk about the high risk zone. And Michael Wagner mentioned
Yay.
that Gao ships,
I can't believe we
potentially,
still talk about this. It just revived the game.
but Gao ships, might be safe in the high risk zone, and they could respawn after, maybe having some time in uh, you know, the hangar to be fixed and an Atlas
Purgatory.
key. And people crafting ships will not have that same uh function. So what do you guys think on that? Do you
Damage.
think
Yeah.
all high risk zone ships should be destroyed? Do you think all ships should have the same functions, or do you like the way he laid it out?
Okay. Well, Jindo's put a lot of points. So when that type of combat arrives, the PvP and the HRZ, it's probably going to be years from now. And at that point, hopefully, whatever kinks get worked out, they'll be worked out. But bottom line, if you have one set of ships that is indestructible, and you have another set of ships that aren't, and if you have one set of ships, the people that own them, not only can they respawn, but they can pay Atlas to make that make that cooldown go faster. That's going to literally define for many people another level of pay to win. They're going to look at it like, how the hell do these ships are not completely destroyed, but that ship is. And then if you own that ship, if you pay more money, you can get your ship back. That will just talk about balance. That will divide the community, and they'll never unite.
And not only that, the bottom line is that you already said that before. This needs to be a game that is fun for 90% of the gamers out there who need to come to make this game big, huge someday. So if they come and they see something like that, is that gonna be fun? Is
No,
trying to fight against an indestructible ship? Obviously not.
So I have a lot of feelings on this.
Yeah.
My very first thought of it is, how many other games have you guys played that has a hardcore mode that when you die your shit's gone? That's pretty normal in gaming. That there's a hardcore zone of some kind, and I think
yep.
that kind of that's how I look at the high risk zone, like as a hardcore mode. But then on top of that, we are pirates. We plan to be blowing people up. If we spend months planning on fighting on some, let's say we're attacking a Titan for whatever dumbass reason, that's what we've decided to do. But we spend 2 months figuring out how to do it, and we actually accomplish it, and we knock a Titan out in the high risk zone. And then let's say there's even a long timer, a month without a timer. Also, they're down a Titan for a month. Like, that to me is not enough time for that big of an achievement. To me, there should be more. That should be like a history moment. If you take a Titan down, like when the Titan it got blasted, it changed everything. This faction took over after that because of that specific moment. If that person can respawn that ship in like a month, like, I'm sure as hell not going to command my guild to go out and ever try to fight a Titan if I know that they have an insurance and they can just get it back. It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, and then you got, even if it's 6 months or a year, all you know is that taking out that Titan means nothing, and you just have now a guild with a Titan that's gonna come after you. So immediately, talk about a force multiplier. Anyone that owns a Titan will never be fucked with ever. And then that's, again, there goes balance.
It's like the Death Star being destroyed and then coming back again.
Yeah,
In Star
yeah,
Wars.
yeah.
It's like,
There's
what?
there's precedent.
I
So-
honestly, and this is, I don't have any information when I say this. This is totally my own opinion, but I kind of feel like the GAO insurance is already going to happen, because after the late night conversation in Discord, I don't know how many of you guys were there, but I actually was, with Swag himself. Literally 2 weeks after that, the Titans started popping off the shelves.
Exactly.
To
Exactly.
me, that feels like a guarantee. Like, look, if you buy this ship, you're gonna have an insurance. You don't have to worry. It's just really coincidental that it happened 2 weeks after that conversation. And then, like, 2 days after, another one. There goes all the Titans. I just don't believe people would drop that kind of, even with the discount. Let's say they're down to $1 million. I don't think someone's going to drop $1 million on an NFT that they know that they could lose.
Want to
Exactly,
play
Yeah.
Jim.
advocate of the devil here. I have mixed feelings. I understand everyone that is, this is something that was explained away in the white paper that we all bought, in 2021. Uh, and this is why it feels like a slap in the face for many people. However, and from my privileged position of being an OG owner like all of you, I do think that that feature would be amazing on a sentimental level, in the sense that the way that Wagner explained it is that the penalties, the 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 timeout of the ship after it was destroyed, it was going to be relatively long. And to speed it up, you could speed it with Atlas, but you are going to end up paying pretty much the price of the ship. Um, and you lose all the modules and all this stuff, and it's only the hull, and it's just for the Gao ships. What does this mean? That the moment that we start crafting ships, and everyone start crafting ships, and all the big guilds start printing ships left and right, the value of the ships may drop. The Gao ship would still keep that value, and the sentimental value that that first ship, that those first 100 X5s, um, that you're always gonna have those holes, with whatever skins that you bought in the beginning. So that part appealed to me, but it's just complicated, and because it was explained differently in the white paper, I think it's gonna be drama.
Okay,
But the
let me
thing
read.
about
Let me
the
read something first. Sorry. Yeah, Dominic Vane was just saying, I can confirm that's not true. He was talking about the Titans having a kind of insurance when they bought the Titan. So he says,
or
obviously, believe it or not. But
Insurance was a thing from the beginning, though. Insurance was something that we all
yeah,
knew
no,
was going to happen.
I was saying insurance,
Somehow.
but we know where it was not insurance. It was like, if you buy a Titan, it's not gonna be destroyed mm, any moment, and never again. So that kind
but
of insurance. It's like not that you buy or pay for an insurance. That could be a possibility, and I think it would be good. But if you just get a lifetime insurance like that just because you buy a ship, even if it's a Titan, that would break the game. And besides that, I would say that if it's not like that, as Dominic said, if that's not the case, it's bad timing, really bad timing, to talk about this kind of
Bad timing.
undestructible ships when just when the Titans were being sold. So it's really bad timing.
When every guild is printing thousands of ships, all these Gao ships are going to be 1% of the ships. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But it was really bad timing, because we know what happened, why the conversation came up, because there were some concerns on people spending millions of dollars in an NFT, and it's a
Yeah.
completely valid worry. We cannot compare this with anything done before, because as far as I know, I've never seen people invest millions of dollars in a game before.
And that's
yeah,
what
but
I
they,
kind of
but
want to
they
talk
don't
about.
have to fly that $1 million ship in the HRZ if they don't want to. There's still two other sectors, and my thing is he had that late night conversation. Then he was on Virtual's podcast and dropped it again, and wow, magically Virtual buys a ship, and then it all dies, and I'm on Brew and I'm asking about it, and then Dom and Santi are like, oh, that's not gonna HRZ, and then boom, he comes in and drops it again. So to me, it doesn't matter if it's spelled out. Of course, that's a great investment. And talk about demoralizing any guild in the future that wants to craft a Titan. Why? You don't own a Gao Titan. Why would you waste the time and have it destroyed over and over when those Titans are indestructible?
And my thing is on this. I have a tree arrow. Let's just say, someone crafts a tree arrow. are crafted trios and Gao trios going to be two different things on the marketplace? And are you going to be able to buy one? Or like that's where it gets muddy for me. And I feel like it should be all or none,
Yeah,
personally.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because are you going to have two, like, crafted ships are going to be way cheaper than Gao ships, and you're going to have two different. It just kind of gets a little muddy for me right there before we, you know what I mean?
Let's do a 3-year plan.
yeah.
But
30-year plan.
yeah,
Okay.
before we move on to our next topic,
Yeah.
Star
Just
Atlas put
let me
out
read
that
Dominic's opinion first. Sorry.
okay, go ahead.
Before we change the topic, because Dominic said, I really don't like the idea of early Gao ships having in-game advantages. The perk to owning these ships early should probably be cosmetic, in my opinion. So at least
Exactly. That's
that's
why I
there.
love Dom. The Gal ships are going to have value because they're OG. But if you bring in the only people this benefits are people that are here, and the people that we need to make this game successful, they're not here yet. And if they see this mechanic, it's just going to look really, really bad. So, like Saul has said, if you're going to do this, if Swag is going to push through this change and make it the HRZ light, then make it for all ships.
It's like playing an extractor game, like Shrapnel or Call of Duty. You're going out there trying to extract and bring all these resources or guns back. But if you die, you lose them. But also, whatever you brought into that area, you're gonna lose if you die. But that way, you don't really, you really don't lose whatever you brought into the high risk
Yeah,
zone now.
that's like having a mechanic where you have an OG backpack, and then only people that own that are able to have a couple of weapons that they never lose.
And to bring it kind of full circle back to what Jindo said, uh, people want to be the ones to first take down the Titan, and people are gonna write stories about Eve of Empire, Empires of Eve for Star Atlas, and you're gonna have all this rich lore that players are gonna start, and then you're gonna kind of take away that thunder when you do this kind of ship.
There's
Gal
no
ship.
lore if there's insurance, because the
Yep,
ships won't matter anymore.
yep.
Mm.
It's to me, if you have insurance, it's just like a payout and it's third party. But a respawn of an in-game asset because it's special, that's no bueno.
And that's not even real. I mean, in real life, if you crash your car and it's destroyed, they don't come and say, no, it was not destroyed. You can get insurance
Yeah,
and you can get a new one.
pay us more money and we'll get it back to you faster.
Yeah.
Essentially,
The Ferraris don't get destroyed.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
essentially it's PvP poker. You go
Exactly.
into a poker game and you go all in every hand.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the other person, they could, beat your hand, but you just come back, the next day, all in, all in. Or the next hand, even, like when someone could go all in every hand, and it doesn't matter anything. It kind of changes the game a little bit.
All the Gao
And
ships
that's for
are
real,
really giant.
because with people who already played poker with real money, and that's what happens when some ships are for real money and you can lose them. But people who play poker with real money then suddenly start playing when they can't lose any money. What do? They just go all in all the time or whatever. They don't care. It doesn't even. It's not even fun anymore. Not even fun.
Yeah.
But they do weird things. It breaks the game. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
nonsense.
You guys are that's a great point with the poker analogy, yeah.
And it's gonna be my thing is it's gonna be hard to find that 8x in the high risk zone. So I think that's a way to they could maybe lower it a little bit or something. I'm not really sure, but it's going to be hard to figure out how to get that 8x in the high risk zone that they mentioned in the white paper.
Jindo, how do you guys get along with other pirates? Is there a kind of feeling of, brotherhood among pirates, even within your faction, or there's more like a rivalry? or we still in Kumbaya mode because there's no combat?
I don't want to speak for. I mean, primarily the other pirates I think of as S&B, right? Where it's us and S&B. I don't really think of many other people. I guess Dark. I don't know what happened to Dark. They don't seem to be what they once were for whatever reason. But in the past, there's definitely been some turmoil between the leadership of S&B and Unseen. But there's been a lot of like shifting within roles, kind of within both guilds. From really what it seems, I don't. There was a time in the past that White Mane and Bomber did not get along, which are both basically founding members of their respective guilds. But I've I haven't had any problems with the guys personally. We haven't got into it, but I think we all kind of have the same mentality on the game, and they're definitely more game focused as well. The biggest problem I see with SMB is I know for a fact they want to kill Mud, and at one point they wanted to kill Unseen. So I would imagine that we'll be doing our fair share of battling with SMB at some point down the line.
Who's going to be the
Good.
pirate king?
Sorry?
No, I was saying, who's going to be the pirate king?
Pirate King. Wow.
I'm gonna. They're gonna have to fight the whole faction if they're up in fucking Mud attacking. That's the big difference. So, and
I love it.
I've said this to a lot of my guys recently. Like as bad as the economy and what in the game right now, and just really the gameplay loops are boring as hell. All of that right now has in turn caused the LP sniping from whoever is doing it. But from that, we've got this great coordination that's starting to me within all factions. It's finally starting to bring players together from each of the factions to try to coordinate different things, even if it's just stupid shit like trying to block people from putting in field stabilizers. Like, let's run to this base and put in as many as we can. Like, there's people that are actually finally working together towards the same goal within the same faction, and I don't think we've ever had that up to this point so far.
You're a positive guy for being a pirate.
Yeah.
But it's true, it's true.
Yeah, I do think the Mud Empire, we're working very well, and we've blocked a few whales from doing that before on a couple bases. You know, we have a few wins, we have a few
No, as much
losses,
as we can.
but we are working very well with what we got as a faction. It's turning out to be a, you know, building some good relationships. You know, I know a few of us are playing Project Awakening,
That's been
uh,
great.
a pretty good Web3 game, and we all started a DAC or Corp in that game, and we're playing together in that game, grinding it out. If anybody's interested, you guys could join us. Just let us know. But yeah, it's an awesome game, and you know, we're kind of forming these relationships between Project Awakening and working together as the faction in Star Atlas. And I think, you know, the longer and we do this, it's going to benefit all of us.
Yeah, you guys, I
Yeah,
have to say, I'm in the middle of moving all this and working on, and I just, you guys, it's awesome to be part of you guys. I mean, you guys are grinders, man, and we can't say shit. I know, but I just, what's happening is awesome, and it just makes me realize that it's possible that this whole Web3 MMO thing is going to take off. And I know we're going to dance around shit, but I'm just blown away by you guys.
No, it's been great having the multiplayer factor and being able to cultivate these friendships playing together
Yes.
and going and to kill nerds together, and it's been fun. It's been fun. We cannot say anything because we sign an NDA, but we invite everyone to go and check it out. It's a pre-alpha. It just runs until the first week of July. And
yeah.
if you play Star Atlas and you're curious, just download it and come over. It's called Atlas Corp, or guild there.
Yeah, Jindo, I mean, the whole thing, I can't make myself play bait. I've tried, but I am pissed off that I can't join in the fun, because that's what gaming is. And I think if you can have fun and learn together and build together, if you make profit on the side, great. But I think I dream about Star Atlas. Just that's front and center, and not this whole thing about Bodhi's doing this, and it's just it just burns it out. It burns the fucking joy out of it for me.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Our big thing in Unseen right now, you know what we're actually focused on the most is who's going to hit the #1 spot on the gunplay trainer leaderboard.
Hey, I was second, but I changed my name to Mr. Easy's fan club, and they fucking ganked me.
We're up there, boy. We're up there, bro. There's 3 top 10
Yeah,
now. We're
yeah.
coming.
Shattuck is there. I'm like, what the? I should have not changed my name.
Blazing Focus said he had to take a week off because his pinky's broken or some shit from slide shooting.
Oh, dude, I that's another. Now that you're bringing up really fucking emotional shit there, Jindo, like that, like, I mean, what are we doing? Why can't we have a fucking server? Do you know how much fun all this bullshit with Rome and but join and play and kill each other? Like,
Yeah.
why can't we have a 5v5v5, have it run all the time, a friggin' lobby, and if there's not enough people, we all jump on, and now we're the lobby. Like, you don't, what's going on? And I just
They
don't
stole the
understand.
gunplay leaderboard, dude. They don't want
Yeah,
no 5v5.
yeah, but the gunplay, it's like they're bots, and it's like if we had like, look how fun Surge was, but scaled down, then you can really, really use the movement of this game. You lose that with a giant map. That little dude, if we could have a small team deathmatch or 5v5, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think they're going. Their play test was for the meta gravity. They wanted to put a bunch of people in there, so
Yeah.
that's what their goal was. But yeah, it would have been fun to also have a smaller team deathmatch or a smaller surge that we could play 5v5 or whatever. Would have been awesome. We've been trying to do little competitions between guilds and factions with Gallia Cup. Had a couple successful seasons, but kind of fizzled out a little bit when Sage and regular Surge came out. But it would be cool to somehow get a Surge tournament going on. Hopefully, the team could work on something like that.
Well,
Racing
the
is
thing about
coming.
metagravity is, yeah, they're going to use it for racing. You could cap the players, right? Like, I don't understand how one defeats the other. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you can have thousands of people on the metagravity server, but if you for a team deathmatch, why not just cap the players? I don't understand why it's not a permanent server. That's and I don't get it. And I mean, maybe there's a reason, but if it's like, is it money? Why can't we? Why are there dead games right now that we could load up right now and go on a server?
Maybe it's because of
Like-
something more technical, like when you are developing something and working on the infrastructure and all that, keeping something that it's different than what you are developing may be something sometimes very, very difficult or complicate things. And maybe it's like, okay, we don't need to complicate things right now. Maybe.
It requires a dedicated team, and they learned
Yeah.
the lesson during the winter that we were all part of. And I think
Yeah.
they're going to be careful in the way they scale. And we just have to be patient. It's just we are not used to play a game so early in development because I've never seen this before.
By the
Yeah,
way,
you're right. I
Dominic,
mean, I
Dominic
wish we
just
just
said,
knew why.
We complain about an economy.
Dominic just said
pre-alpha
something
game.
interesting. Dominic
And
just said we have a town hall coming in June, and I think
Oh,
you'll like something we talk about Grist.
okay. Wait. So all my fucking anger and salt, we're gonna have some little alpha here. I hope so, Dom. I'm not losing the religion. It's just we just need to have
Tomorrow
some
or
permanent competition.
But is that
But,
Yeah.
something only for Grist? Then I don't translate it to Spanish.
but it would be cool, even if it's not like 1,000 players or whatever. Even like, I loved the Battlefront game, Star Wars Battlefront. It was still quite a bit of players playing. And you could fly around in ships, tanks, on the ground, capture points. It was a good game. I still play it, but it would be interesting even just to get 20 on 20, like 2 teams of 20, 30 people. It's chaos.
Man,
Yeah.
even small teams where you could organize, like if they took Gunplay Trainer and turned it into PvP, I would be totally happy with that. 3 on 3.
Jindo.
in a
Dude, that
tiny
would be
little
fun.
arena. Let me practice against people that actually move in like human, directions instead of some bot shit. Like you can't
Yeah,
really
dude,
and
that
and,
practice
and
to get
people you
good.
can talk to, and you can
Yeah.
be in a chat, in a voice
Settle
chat,
some
and
differences
have
the
fun.
old-fashioned way. Come get your ass kicked in 3v3 and then talk
seriously.
shit.
Yeah.
That's my dream. Like if they have that, then we can all this stuff we can go in game, and it's going to change everything. And especially if that is what we have when it's open access on Epic Store, then other gamers can come in. They might not even care about the other side. They'll just like the movement and the gunplay. Like
Yeah.
that would be fucking. I'm dreaming of that, man. That would be beautiful. And see, Dom can come out and just kill everyone and take some wagers if he wants.
And if we have that 3v3 or that little gunplay arena and actually play like, against guilds, you know, we could actually put our money where our mouth is, or
Exactly.
maybe some guilds would probably like pipe down a little bit,
Well, I
but
know I'm waiting for Whitakis to he called talk shit. So I said, when are we gonna play? So hopefully, if we have that, he'll want to hop in and we can figure shit out.
Hey Dom, you gotta give us a date so you come over here also and drop some alpha and tell us a little bit about yourself as well.
Thank you for coming,
Yeah.
Dom. I love you.
Yeah, I was planning to ask something like that one of these days. So be ready, Dominic. And tell some other guys there in the team also that they can be getting ready because we're gonna ask one of these days. So the thing is that about the Unreal Engine 5 side of the game, that's the future, of course. That's what we all want, and that's what I hope that someday is going to be the fun part of all this, not only the economic game. But I have a little kind of fear sometimes that it's maybe balanced in the same way, in an economic way, when we have more of a game in Unreal Engine 5, the kind of full game, what we call usually the full game. If it's balanced like it's right now in Starbased, maybe we have a different kind of game than what we expect, or what we hope. So that's my little fear. I think the whole game needs different mechanics for that kind of gameplay where you can really move freely, not always saying, "Oh, I'm losing a lot of Atlas because I was just trying to have fun and go here and there and explore and whatever." Right now it's like that. If you go exploring, you lose a lot of fuel, Atlas, and if we have combat, maybe you even get destroyed. So in other games, it's usually like a different feeling that you can literally move more, do more things, craft more things. Of course, you have to balance the economy, but I think balance it in a different way. Like everything is balanced right now in one level. Maybe we need to balance everything in another different level one day for the game to be
Yeah,
fun.
I listened to Chris's podcast. One thing about all the challenges that are ahead, at least as time goes on, I think every new thing that's figured out, if we, as long as we got Chris, man, I think they'll hammer it out and try to make it as balanced as possible. But I still think there's going to be people that just don't care. They'll literally pay to play. They won't
Yeah.
care about making. They'll literally get the Atlas. They'll consume everything. They'll use it to make their own custom skins, and they won't even bother with because they do it right now. You know.
Hmm.
There's space
Yeah,
for
but
everyone though.
but also, even if you lose Atlas, I mean, there's there's a feeling that everybody needs, even if it's only a game, and it's progression. You need to have the feeling that you
Yeah.
progress. That if you are mining, and you are crafting, you are getting a bigger ship, and you are going forward. But that needs to be like in a maybe different way than now. I don't know how to explain that, but my best
Maybe a
explanation
different
is
curve,
like
so it's
different
a little easier
level.
to
Sorry?
a different curve, so it's a little easier to start because right now it's really hard to start. If you come with money, you can make money. Maybe not as much as what you did in labs, but you can. And if you don't, between the fees from Star Atlas, but the fees from the network, the price of the ships, and the actual returns when you have small ships, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I know it's hard to balance the economy of a game like this, but I think I have the feeling that it's on one level, everything balanced on one level, and it needs to move to a different level where you can balance everything together, but in a different way, and the feeling of the game should be more playable and more progression and more things like that. I hope one day it's coming, and I expect it to come like that. But well, we'll see. By the way, Dominic was saying, "I'll gladly come." So
Come on, Dom.
yeah,
Here's
we're
White
gonna
Mane.
have to talk about that date. And White Mane, Carlos just needs a blonde, and he's White Snoop.
I think a lot of us kind of forget that we're in testing phases too. Like we want this to be what we want it to be, but I'm just imagining that it's really hard to test this with everything being so blockchain oriented. You know, everything's on the blockchain, so unless you actually have someone on the blockchain doing it, you're not really getting much test. And what's the testing team consist of? Maybe 15 or 20 people. So that's all the data they get back before they push out an update. And then basically, I'm in my mind that the day the update goes out for the next month is 100% full-fledged test, and it'll be constant patches throughout that first month to get to a sustainable level where it's playable, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jindo,
for
I think
sure.
you hit. I think you hit it. We're like we're the play testers before the play testers. And I think for all of us been here so long, maybe we kind of forget that. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we're
a great
playing an
point.
incomplete game. It's not even multiplayer. We are playing with our player profiles, with our guilds in game. Like we have a dark silhouette now, but still just an empty case. So
Yeah,
we are playing
yeah.
with all this stuff, and of course, it's gonna suck sometimes. We just gotta be patient. It's coming. It's coming. I trust them. As long as we also stay on top of their ass, so they don't slack and they don't unbalance it unnecessarily. We
Yeah.
gotta keep voicing our feedback and keep working together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's something that Wagner said several times, and not only Wagner, some more people from the team, and I think they said that too. And I always say that in my Spanish live streams a lot of times because I love that, and that's what really convinces me of all these things. And it's they say if anything breaks the game, we're gonna do anything that we need to do to fix it and to make it work in whenever any problem arises. So that's the right mindset that I think it's needed to develop anything and to progress in a game like this. So we are 1 hour more or less right now. So
Yeah.
do you want to say anything
Go
else
over.
before we wrap it up?
Well, let's go over one more thing. The new thing coming out this month, I believe, is Crew. And Star Atlas came out with their, I don't have it in front of me, but they came out with the passenger slots for each vehicle. And it's quite interesting. Some of them I like, some of them I'm like, oh really? Kind of upset about. But like the Calico Evac, I believe, is the best bang for your buck passenger slot. It's a pretty big ship. But makes sense that you have to carry a lot of potentially a mass cal, like a lot of hurt members or uh, characters or whatever. But like I have quite a few F4s, and there's zero crap passenger slots for F4s. I always thought maybe an F4 would be it's a fighter, but also like you could dismount some
Troops.
infantry or something from there because you saw pictures that you had a couple infantry guys walking around inside the ship. So I was kind of bummed out about that. So I didn't know if you guys had any thoughts on the passenger slots on some of the
At least you have
ships.
some cargo on those, and you can just throw a bunch of funnies there.
Yeah, yeah.
Stack them up.
They are not crew,
Uh,
so they are not
Miguel,
people.
We'll be able to
Okay,
swap modules out too, right? So if you absolutely needed a transport module, you could put it in. I don't think they were stuck to what's on it currently. I think the cargo could change to a passenger if you wanted to.
yeah, maybe,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, it
That's
seems
true.
a little weird that it doesn't have any transport capacity, just like that, because yeah, I also thought that it was going to transport some infantry. But anyway, Dominic is heading out. So thanks for coming, Dominic. See you next time.
Later, don't.
And we'll talk for sure.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Sam.
And another
And then
point about the crew, just to finish this topic soon, is that they said recently, that it would be like we have to put in the game to get anything in game one by one, one by one. So what's gonna happen to people who have like thousands or hundreds? Are they gonna be like putting them one by one? How is that gonna be?
But he has to do a live stream opening all his.
Yeah, yeah. Jan
his
and Bodhi
Yeah,
have to live stream it.
and that's gonna be a full month.
It's a
I think they
24-hour
made that
stream.
mechanic to maybe deter
I thought one of the
um
devs said that
help
you could stack more than one. I thought there was like a select all option. I remember saying someone
Hope
that,
there
but
is.
I'm
I
not
hope there
sure.
is. Because one side of the game is begging you to get more crew and more crew and more crew, and the other side is penalizing it for it. So I hope they make something that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe the whole thing with one by one, maybe it's because each is a transaction, maybe, and you have to do that, or that would suck if you have to do one by one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because they're gonna be different. When we open the cards, each one is gonna be different. Maybe it's because of that. But anyway, it's gonna be something interesting. Even with 100 crew, for example, it's gonna be like, oh shit, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
even a commander, even opening like all those packs for a commander, it's like I think it's like 200 something ships, passengers or members in that one ship, and it's a huge jump from commanders to titans, which are I think thousands. So if you own a titan, you're essentially depositing each member, which is 1,000 something clicks. It's gonna be interesting.
You remember the American planes when they were leaving Iraq with the people
Yeah,
hanging
everyone
on the
hanging out.
side? That's gonna be my ship.
No, don't leave.
Strap on.
Okay. So, anything else you want to say, or for example, ask Jindo before we finish the stream? No.
No,
I just
think we're
want to thank
good.
him for coming by. That's awesome. Thank you for stopping by, Jindo.
yeah, no
James,
problem. Join you guys whenever you want me, man. Just ask me, I'll be here.
yeah, come
Hell
over
yeah.
when you want. This is your home.
Awesome. It's been great talking to you and having the chance to know more about your thoughts as a pirate, but also as mod, as a player of different games. So good to know that part of you and
Well,
the
we
way you
can't say
think.
anything, but we can't really say anything, but yeah, try out Project Awakening.
Yeah,
You'll have fun.
I'm already there. I'm a long time Eve Online player, so it's like jumping back in World of Warcraft after playing it for 30 years. Because it's like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
Yeah, and
yep.
everybody who's watching this, if you don't know where or whatever, just uh, ask, and we'll help you join or at least sign up for the test for Project Awakening. And if you want to join us in the corporation that we have there, well, we will see.
Right.
We will see what we can do. So thanks everybody for coming. Shadix saying, "Great show, everyone." Yeah, I
Thanks,
think
Shaq.
it was a good one. We had an interesting conversation about several topics. Thanks, Jindo, again for coming. Thanks, everybody, for being in the chat. Body, Whitemane, and Dominic for sure, Shadix. So everyone as usual.
Nice to
And
meet.
yeah, it's awesome to have you there because we love chatting with you and reading your questions, answering to your questions, or seeing your comments and seeing your opinions right there. So it's awesome. Thanks, Solas. Thanks, Grist. Thanks, Drum Carlos. Yeah, I was checking who else was here. I forget. So thanks everybody. See you
Later,
next
guys.
Thanks,
time.
Thanks.
Jindo.
Just stay
Okay.
tuned for Twitter or any Discord. Maybe we announce because sometimes we are not able to do it on Friday, but most of most Fridays we will be here. So see you next time.